Hebrews. This is our Prophets of Awakening. This is our men's advanced Bible study all night, the 25th of January, 2023. We'll be dealing with chapter 15 out of the book of Jubilees and breaking it, read it and break it down. I'm asking everybody to go to our YouTube channel, Prophets of Awakening, and check out our videos. There's a lot of information given, and the videos will lead you into the truth of the Holy Scripture. And if you like what you are receiving on the channel, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It'd be greatly appreciated. And this is a non-Messianic channel, and by that I mean we only deal with the TANAK, which is the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah, first 5 books of the Old Testament, that was conveyed by the Lord of Hosts to Moses on Mount Sinai. Shalom and welcome to Prophets of Awakening, and welcome to our men's advanced Bible study. Okay, we're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence, prayer, psalms, do some current events. Then we'll do a little need to know information and go into some Q&A and comments, and then we'll go into the topic. And it's reading out of the book of Jubilees, chapter 15. This moment of silence is for the Lord of Hosts and all that he's doing to bring about our deliverance in these last days. Oh Lord, we come before thee at this hour, praising thee and honoring thee because of your position both in heaven and upon the earth, a position in which Creator Yahweh have given unto thee. And through your spirit and counsel, oh Lord, we have awakened. We have awakened to know who we are as a people and who you are as our Savior and our Redeemer. We are thankful for all that you have done, and we are eagerly searching the scriptures out that we may be in the right place at the right time upon your arrival to this planet. We love you and we seek you daily, O Lord. There is none else besides thee to redeem us. We see you in the affairs of the world, and we faithfully await your deliverance. Peace be unto you. Okay, so with that being said, let me say shalom, everybody. Shalom. Shalom. Okay. So we're going to go into read the Psalms right quick. Okay. Okay, I'm going to read Psalms 10. It's a prayer for the overthrow of the wicked. Why standest thou far off, O Lord? Why hidest thyself in times of trouble? The wicked in his pride doeth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. For the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blessed the covetous whom the Lord abhorred. The wicked through the pride of his countenance will not seek after God. God is not in his thoughts. His ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for his enemies, he puffeth at them. He hath said in his heart, I will not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. His mouth is full of cursings and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places doeth he murder the innocent. His eyes are privately set against the poor. He lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his deed. He lieth in wait to catch the poor, and he doeth catch the poor when he draweth him into a net. He crouches and humbleth himself, that the poor may fall by his strong ones. He hath said in his heart, God hath forgotten. He's hidden his face. He will never see it. Arise, O Lord, O God, lift up thine hand. Forget not the humble. Wherefore doeth the wicked contempt God? He hath said in his heart, thou wilt not require it. Thou hast seen it, for thou beholdest mischief and spite to requite it with thy hand. The poor committeth himself unto thee. Thou art the helper of the fatherless. Break thou the arm of the wicked and the evil man. Seek out his wickedness till thou find none. The Lord is king forever and ever, and the heathens will perish out of the land. Lord, though thou heard the desire of the humble, thou wilt prepare their hearts. Though thou wilt cause thine ear to hear, to judge the fatherless, and to oppress that man of the earth may no more oppress. Okay, that was Psalm 10, the prayer for the overthrow of the wicked. Okay, so with that being said, we're going to move on to some current events. Okay.
Another day of the economic collapse, and we're seeing a slow motion collapse in the U.S. economy and throughout most of the world, actually. And yes, I'm bundled up today. As you can see, it got down into the 30s last night. And even in San Diego, we still get some frost and some ice in the mornings. And I even had to break out my ice scraper this morning. I might only use this 3 to 5 times a year, just on those mornings where it's wet enough to cause some ice and cold enough, scraping it off the windshield. But I am from Michigan, so I know all about shoveling snow, scraping ice, getting stuck in the snowbank. So I'd like to say I've paid my dues. But let's get into it. It's getting bad out there. And so what we're seeing is plunging savings rate throughout the population. Most people now have lower savings now than they did even during the financial crisis. Most people also at the same time have higher debt. We're at all-time high debt levels, both as a nation and as individuals, as people here, as consumers. Debt levels at all-time highs. Now, not for everybody. Some people are doing better than ever. If you're up there in the top 10, 20, 30%, you're more likely doing better now than you were previously, even a few years ago before the health crisis and all that. But one thing that comes with a deteriorating economy and the eroding purchasing power of the U.S. consumer, one thing that comes with that is rising crime. As poverty increases, as the cost of living gets so expensive for most people, poverty increases. What increases with poverty? Well, it's crime. Take a look at some of the photos that I got here from some viewers, and I'm not sure exactly who sent me this one, but look at this. Now, a lot of laundry detergent. I've seen the pictures of certain items being locked up. A lot of beauty care items have been locked up, even in places like Walmart and things like that. So I was told that this is out of New York, and I'm going to guess it's New York City. And, how bad is the situation when you have to run chains through the detergent handles? You see all the chains there? So I guess you're going to have to get the lock and key there if you're an employee and somebody wants to buy some laundry detergent. And from what I see here, it used to be just items that were easier to steal. Like if you go to Walmart, the video games are behind, a glass case because people can pop it open and put it in their pocket. They could steal it more easily. But this is a big thing of laundry detergent. So obviously they're not worried about somebody just putting it in their back pocket because it's too big. They're worried about a lot of these smash and grabs and people coming in huge numbers and grabbing all the things as many things as they can and then heading out. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So pretty soon it's going to be chains on everything, I guess, the way the economy is going, the way people are, suffering and not being able to afford basic necessities like laundry detergent now. And you could say, well, it's organized crime. They're grabbing the stuff so they can go resell it. They're not really that poor. They're not in poverty. Well, are they going to be reselling laundry detergent on eBay? I kind of doubt it. So to me, it looks like another sign of economic turmoil when you have to lock up stuff like this. Please let me know what you think down in the comments. Now let's move along here. Also, still on the topic of rising crime. In hand, folks, and this is Chase. Chase is closing some ATMs early because of crime. And I didn't see, I wasn't told where this was at, but I'm going to guess it's one of the larger cities. That seems to be the trend, the larger cities, but it's not just cities. I was watching a crime show the other day, and they found a bunch of bodies out in cornfield. So it's not just cities here that are seeing the rise in this type of thing here. Now the ATMs, they can't even stay open because so many people were, getting their money taken, likely after getting money out of the ATM. So the bank, with closing these ATMs earlier, I guess they figure they're playing their part in trying to prevent this type of crime from happening. All right, now let's transition a little bit here. Something happening out here in California. The state of California is once again, the state is having to defer improvement projects because of this huge projected budget deficit of about $22.5 billion. That's billion with a B. And this is after years of having a surplus. So California now is going to be taxing the wealthy, and they're going to be implementing, or they're talking about implementing, a new wealth tax. And it's likely going to be about another 1.5% of what they're saying is going to be taxing the ultra wealthy. But here's what's going to happen. Are the ultra wealthy going to stay in California because California is that great? Or are they just going to go to another state? Like we've seen so many companies now go to Texas, Tennessee, Arizona, just getting out of California. So I think it's going to just drive an exodus. I don't think it's going to fix the budget gap or the budget deficit. So then what are they going to do? They're going to come after the middle class. They're going to implement this gas tax, this pay per mile gas tax that most people can't afford. And with Saudi Arabia now, the world's largest oil exporter, looking to trade outside of the dollar, what's going to happen now to the price of oil in dollars? And 2023, my guess is we're going to see new all-time highs in oil. Please let me know what you think down in comments. We've also are running pretty low on the strategic reserves, not running out, but running pretty low, and that could be part of the reason why it hasn't spiked even higher. But even looking back over 5 years, this is the highest winter for oil than we've seen in many years. Or are consumers so strapped that we're going to see a big drop off in demand, which would then have the price subdued and stay lower? Please let me know what you think down below. I see new all-time highs in oil this summer, but it depends on how much debt gets extended, how much credit gets extended to people. That way they can go take vacations and still fill up their vehicles and RVs with oil that they know, or with gas rather, with gas made from oil, would fill up their vehicles with gas that they normally couldn't afford.
Okay, any comments on that? Yeah, so he's telling us that crime picked up because of inflation and all these layoffs. Everybody's strapped for money, so the crime will increase to a major. It's a big jump in crime. But that's, like I said before, that's all been prophesied. Okay.
The housing market is crashing. The cryptocurrency industry has imploded. The tech industry is laying off workers at an extremely frightening pace, and some of our most important retailers are heading into bankruptcy. The information that I am about to share with you is deeply troubling. It has become exceedingly clear that our economy is in huge trouble, and I fully expect that our problems will accelerate even more as the year rolls along. Let me start by pointing out what's currently happening at Microsoft. Microsoft announced thousands of job cuts this week, becoming the latest tech company to pluck its workforce as the global economy slows. The software company confirmed Wednesday it's reducing its workforce by 10,000 people through the end of the third quarter of the 2023 fiscal year. The cuts come in response to macroeconomic conditions and changing customer priorities. the company's CEO, Satya Nadella, released in a statement to its employees Wednesday. Microsoft reported the layoffs would affect roughly 5% of its workforce, with some notifications happening as early as Wednesday. If even Microsoft is laying off thousands of workers, is any job in the private sector truly safe? Meanwhile, some of the biggest names in the retail industry are plunging into bankruptcy now that the holiday season is over. On Tuesday, it was Party City's turn. Party City filed for bankruptcy protection Tuesday, weighed down by competition and years of financial losses. The largest party goods and Halloween specialty retail chain in the United States said in a regulatory filing that it has reached an agreement with debt holders to cut its $1.7 billion debt load. Party City has for years battled competition for party goods and decorations, especially from big box chains and online retailers that sell a wider variety of merchandise. Competition is not the only factor that's led to Party City's collapse, however. The company had to contend with rising costs during the pandemic and a helium shortage, which hurt its highly crucial balloon business. Balloons are a focal point of our growth strategy and are a key driver of our differentiated brand experience, the company said in a regulatory filing. Even more alarming is the fact that it's been reported that a bankruptcy filing for Bed Bath & Beyond has become likely. Bed Bath & Beyond has been in discussions with prospective buyers and lenders as it works to keep its business afloat during a likely bankruptcy filing, according to people familiar with the matter. The retailer is in the midst of a sales process in hopes of finding a buyer that would keep the doors open for both of its major tenants, its namesake banner and Bye Bye Baby, except the people who weren't authorized to discuss the matter publicly. Earlier this month, Bed Bath warned it may need to file for bankruptcy after its turnaround plans failed to substantially boost sales and repair its balance sheet. In the groundwork for a bankruptcy filing. Genesis Global Capital is laying the groundwork for a bankruptcy filing as soon as this week, according to people with knowledge of the situation. Cryptocurrency lending unit of Digital Currency Group has been in confidential negotiations with various creditor groups amid a liquidity crunch. It is warned that it may need to file for bankruptcy if it fails to raise cash, Bloomberg previously reported. Number 2, Crypto.com announced it will be laying off 20% of its workforce. The company had 2,450 employees, according to PitchBook data, suggesting around 490 employees were laid off. CEO Chris Mazalik said in a blog post that the crypto exchange grew ambitiously but was unable to weather the collapse of Sam Bankman-Fried's crypto empire FTX without the further cuts. Number 3, Coinbase has decided to cut about a fifth of its workforce. On January the 10th, Coinbase announced plans to cut its workforce as it looks to preserve cash during the crypto market downturn. The exchange plans to cut 950 jobs, according to a blog post. Coinbase, which had roughly 4,700 employees as of the end of September, had already slashed 18% of its workforce in June, saying it needed to manage costs after growing too quickly during the bull market. Number 4, the founder of cryptocurrency exchange BitSlotto has actually been arrested. Apparently, he was laundering money on a scale of epic proportions. Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco said Anatoly Lekomita, 40, a Russian national, oversaw a major high-tech financial hub that catered to known crooks, including cyber criminals and drug dealers seeking to process dirty money. The cryptocurrency industry will never look the same again after all this turmoil. On top of everything else, The Saudis appear to be poised to make a major move that could literally change everything. At the yearly gathering of the World Economic Forum in Davos, the Saudi finance minister decided to drop a bombshell. Saudi Arabia is open to discussions about trade in currencies other than the US dollar, according to the kingdom's finance minister. Needless to say, this could potentially completely undermine the dominance of the petrodollar. Of course, we cannot afford to have that happen because the dominance of the dollar is one of the only things that's keeping our system afloat. At this point, just about everything is moving in the wrong direction for the US economy. But most people still do not understand the bigger picture. A lot of the experts assume that we will just suffer through a temporary recession and then things will eventually return to normal. I wish that was true. Unfortunately, our entire system is starting to crack and crumble all around us. Those that are currently running things are not going to be able to put it back together again.
Okay, yeah, that's what I've been saying for forever and a day, is that so many people assuming that this is, everything's going to come back to normal, it's going to bounce back like it always did in the past, disregarding prophecies and the things that the Lord of hosts and prophesied and prophets. But it's going down. They assume they acted as if, they just hang on, it's going to bounce back. But it's not business as usual. Okay, so I got some need to know information right here, which is not good.
Tonight with a warning, a life and death warning. At a time when the dread of a pandemic seems to have been replaced by a general complacency, it could have dreadful consequences for all of us. First, a warning from the World Health Organization. It says the COVID pandemic is not over. Fresh waves of the Wuhan virus are sweeping through China, and they have put the world in peril yet again. And guess who has issued this warning? The one and only Dr. Tedros, the chief of the global health body, once accused of being too China-friendly. Let me now directly get to what he has said. I'm quoting. We have come a long way in bringing the pandemic under control, and we are in a much better position, but the pandemic is still not over. 10,000 people are dying from the virus. The warning may be aimed at the world, but we all know which country is responsible for the return of the angel of death? The country which gave us this virus in the first place. China. Its lethal wave could soon spill over if we continue to remain complacent. On the show, we've been discussing the predictions. We've been talking about the projections. We've been deconstructing the numbers. But tonight, I want to take you through some videos. Videos that China will never show you. They tell you the true scale of the surge. The first one is this one from Sichuan. It shows the moment a doctor suddenly falls unconscious and lies slumped on his chair as his colleagues rush to help. Watch this.
Movement of people through arrangements such as optimizing visa policies through fast-track channels.
What does this mean? On one hand, China has stopped reporting deaths. On the other hand, it's talking about making travel convenient. Now, I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but does China deliberately plan to infect the world again? I know it sounds politically incorrect, but Beijing's track record always raises doubts.
Are you driving way less than you used to? Do you have a clean driving record? Are you over?
Thankfully, the world is now able to see through Chinese propaganda. Let me show you a statement from the US State Department. It says it hopes to see China defeat the virus soon because it doesn't want to see deaths anywhere. Exact words spoken. Listen in.
The United States joins the rest of the world in hoping to see the PRC defeat this outbreak and to get COVID under control. That, of course, is the case because we don't want to see death or disease spread anywhere. We also know that whenever the virus is spreading anywhere widely in an uncontrolled fashion, has the potential for variants to emerge. We've already seen firsthand the cost of variants that have mutated and that have spread around the world. But third, we also note that what happens in China does have implications for the global economy. And it's important not only for the PRC, but also for the continued economic recovery of the international community that the PRC is in a position to get this outbreak under control. We believe in doing so.
The warning is timely because COVID cases are rising across the world. Just look at this map. As I speak, infections are surging in 5 other countries: Japan, South Korea, the UK, the United States, and Brazil. Let's now look at how they're faring one at a time. I'll start with Japan. According to reports, it has logged more than 1 million new cases in the past week. 1,046,418 new cases to be precise. And by prefecture, Tokyo is the worst hit. It has logged the largest weekly number of cases. Next up, we have South Korea. As of Monday midnight, the country reported more than 87,000 new cases. This was the highest daily tally in 97 days. Health officials are predicting a resurgence in the days ahead. A report in the Korea Times says that medical experts have asked the government to prepare for new COVID variants from China. They further added that if a new variant emerges, Korea will be one of the first countries to be affected. This is mostly because of the country's proximity to China. In Brazil, the situation is no better. Reports say the country is facing its 5th wave and the 3rd wave this year alone. Last Saturday, there was a 302% increase in infections from 2 weeks ago. In the United Kingdom, there has been a 27% spike in hospitalizations in a week. The government has identified more than 20 new hotspots. Experts say the country is definitely in the grip of a new wave. In the US, the states of California, Texas, and Florida are reporting new cases, and reports say that the Omicron subvariant BQ1 is behind the spike. It gets worse. Besides a spike in COVID-19, health officials are warning about a tridemic. They say it could engulf most of Europe this winter. But what exactly is a tridemic? Well, in simple terms, it is a triple threat of COVID-19, influenza, and RSV, the new kind of virus that we're talking about. 2 weeks back, there were reports of a tridemic overwhelming the Canadian health system too, with hospitals recording an unprecedented surge in the number of patients.
Okay, any comments on that? Anybody seen any signs of that? Okay, yeah, so with that being said, I'm gonna open it up for some Q&A. Anybody got any comments or questions about something they wanna shine a light on before we get into the to our topic for the class? Anything you wanna know or some clarity?
Not right off the top of my head, but I was doing some studying last night. It'll come to me in a little bit though.
Okay. You get anything out of that last night?
Yes, as far as the commandments, man. Now I'm hearing that it was like 600 plus commandments. But yeah, I was in Ezekiel, how you say it? Ezekiel? I was where you had read that precept.
Oh, Ezekiel.
Yeah, Ezekiel. But yeah, yeah, I'm trying to read that to get into that. But my thing is this, like for when I read the Old Testament, I always start at Genesis. Right. And then it like for us, could I like say I don't read like for us the books in between? Could I just jump to the book that we were just talking about and I actually understand that?
Right.
Or is it like a way that I can, is it a way that you read the Bible for as to study and to understand? For as should I go to Genesis and go from Genesis to the next book to the next book to the next book, or could I just go from Genesis and then jump at Isaiah or something like that and still be on the right track?
What kind of Bible you have?
It's a King James version.
Study? King James Study Bible?
Yeah, it's like a Hebrew Greek study Bible.
Okay, yeah, it's best to, the books out of order. They're not in the chronological order like they're supposed to be because of what their objective was to. They got a lot of information that they was taking out, and because they're taking you to the New Testament. They want to lead you, make you think that JC was always in the scriptures. He hid in the scriptures, but he ain't hid in the scriptures. Like I said, they're using typology, so they rearrange the books around where it don't flow. I'll give you an example. So you see where you got your Bible right there?
Let me get it real quick. Okay, I got it.
You see in the book of Daniel? Well, I was talking about it last night in Daniel chapter 10 or 9.
Okay.
So it says, in verse 1 says, in the first year of Darius, son of Ahaz, the seed of the Medes and Persians, which was made king over the realm of the Chaldeans. In the first year of his reign, I, Daniel, understood by books the number of years, wherefore the word of the Lord came unto Jeremiah the prophet, that he would accomplish 70 years in desolation in Jerusalem. So he had Nebuchadnezzar and the Chaldeans come and they sacked Jerusalem because of their sins. They were sinning against him. Them laws you talking about. So they wasn't keeping the laws and statutes. So he had them taken out of the land. And so the law that is pertaining to that they was really violating was the one where, you got the 6 days you work and the 7th day you rest, right?
Yeah.
That's a Sabbath day. That's for man. But you also got a Sabbath year for the land. You till the ground, you work the ground for 6 years, and that 7th year you let the ground rest. So they wasn't doing that for 490 years. So that's why he had to run them out of the land to make up for them 70 years, because you get 70 Sabbath years out of 490 years. So he ran them out the land so the land can rest and the land can rebuild itself. But a lot of people don't understand that. But my point is this: in Daniel chapter 9, he's looking back and reflecting back on the 70 years, right? But you go to Ezra. Go to Ezra right quick. Ezra is up there by Second Chronicles, right behind Second Chronicles.
Okay, I got it.
So notice right here in chapter 1 of Ezra, now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled, the Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom and put it in writing. So when you see that, Ezra, this book right here, Ezra is before Daniel, and is before Jeremiah. Jeremiah should be in front of this. Okay. You know what I'm saying? It's out of whack, and it's a reason for it's out of whack, because they trying to lead you. They only put in there what they wanted to lead you to the New Testament, the JC. They want you to think that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But the point is, based on all that and what they've done, you find a good solid Bible study group that you want to deal with, but you still can read it the same way. But the important thing about it is understand, getting as much as you can out of every story, because when you understand each story, you're able to connect the dots, because you already know what happened over here, so you connecting dots. So that's why it's why it's of the utmost importance to understand every time you read a story or pick up some of the story, You want to understand it because it's gonna come back later on. You end up reading over some stuff because you didn't pick up what was happening with in a previous situation.
Okay. And then I was seeing, like I said, I be watching some like a lot of people trying to like a lot of people speaking on YouTube about about the same things that we speak about. And I was saying they was going through like for sins and for smoking and smoking weed and this and that. And I was just wondering because I don't smoke weed, no, I don't smoke nothing at all anymore. But I was just
Right,
wondering, was that actually a real sin? If I guess because Most High, the herb comes from Most High.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So I didn't know. Is it just he wanted you to use the herb as a food and not to actually smoke? Is it a sin to smoke?
Right, right. The thing about it is, it's just like anything else. Sex. It's obvious that he created us to have sex because of we our sexual organs. But it's a way, it's a process, and it's laws pertaining to it. You can abuse that, or you can uh uh do it perversely and contaminate yourself by with it, just like with the herbs. He got the herbs. He got different herbs for us to take for healing and all that. But we get the herbs and do something else with them, unlawful.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So that's how that works. It's just he tells you about the former rain and the latter rain. And so what he mean by that is when you understand that earth need water. Our plants, everything, we as humans, we need water. So when a man go and plant his crops in the field, Lord of hosts have to cause the former rain to come. That rain causes the seeds to come up out of the ground. And then when the fruit starts showing on the plants and on the trees, then he bring the latter rain to ripen it. You see what I'm
Okay.
saying? Right.
Okay.
But a lot of people not understanding that, and that's what he's saying when he talks to the Israelites, and he says that don't I bring the former and the latter rain? Have I when you doing what you're supposed to do and you keep my laws, my statutes, don't I bring the former rain and the latter rain? And so many people look at it. Yeah. So we know we see that in Genesis that Adam, when he formed him, Adam is a tiller of the ground. He keep the garden. And then even with with rightly dividing this thing about America with whether the garden of Eden at and all that stuff, all you have to do is look at if you plant a garden in your backyard or wherever you put it in, you got to have a way to water that garden, right?
All right.
So he tells you right there in Genesis that the four rivers, the Euphrates, you know what I'm saying? The Euphrates, the Nile River, and don't none of them rivers come through the United States. And then we see right there between the northeast Africa, where the Arabs at, and where Egypt at, we see four rivers come to a head right there. So that's what a garden
Okay.
is. He
Okay.
brought the four rivers. He put the garden right there where the four rivers is at. They came to a head to water the garden. So that killed the garbage you're talking about America being being where the land where Israel at, and Egypt is supposed to be over here. It ain't adding up. Ain't that something?
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Right. Yeah, so they got them books all twisted out of place. Like I said, to lead you to the New Testament. When you have to understand that when you're reading it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I just be like I said, it's a lot of stuff on YouTube, man, that you can be misled by. Not saying that I'm misled by it, but I look at a lot of different stuff. And
Right.
one thing that tripped me out, man, is I was looking at a documentary on Hitler, and
Right.
Hitler says one of the reasons that he couldn't stand uh the white people were because they weren't the real Jews. He said everybody knows who the real Jews are, and they're the black Americans.
Oh, yeah, right, exactly. He said that. He said the America has got a hell to pay because of they got the Most High Jews in their possession.
Yeah, I seen that, man. And it just tripped me out about that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like everybody knew that we were the Jews, even when we didn't know.
Right,
It's like
exactly.
we're just waking up to that now. You know what I'm saying? But they always knew.
Right. And that's like I said, when you started connecting dots like that, you know, it kills the ideology that you grow up with the New Testament. Because once you start finding this stuff out, you why would he send? He said that we was going to be discontinued from our heritage. So why would he send a son that he didn't took our understanding who we are away from us? Why would he send a son?
That's true. That's true.
So right. That's just like what I'm getting ready to read for the topic is I'm in the Book of Jubilees about the Gentile. How he brought the Gentile in when you read what I'm getting ready to read about the Gentile. How did he bring the Gentile in when he say he hates the Gentile? And he specifically told our forefathers not to that we can't mingle with them. It's abomination. That's like Ezra in the book of Ezra. When Ezra got to the land, got back to Jerusalem, he saw that the Israelites had intermarried with the Canaanites and the Gentiles, and so they had to get rid of them kids and they had to get rid of them wives. So how you gonna do that and then come back later on in the New Testament and he bring them in?
That's true. That's contradicting the whole situation.
Exactly. It don't make no sense. Yeah. So it's a major manipulation and major deception that went down, and you have to be like I said, you got to place yourself in the right place with somebody that can help you connect those dots rather than most people say they've been awakened, but they ain't awakened because you still messing with that New Testament. You ain't awake. You half-ass awake. You ain't awake. Okay. Yeah. So you good? You got anything else?
Not off the top of the head right now.
Okay. Yeah, we'll go to. I'm in Jubilees, the Book of Jubilees. You ever heard of that book? I think we talked about that when you was down here, right?
I want to say we did, man, but like I don't remember the Book of Jubilee. It's in the Old Testament?
No, it's one of the lost books that you got.
Oh, okay, one of the lost books. Okay, I think that you had told me we used to go through a little bit of that, but man, I like ever since then I've been lost on it. So yeah.
Okay, yeah. It's Jubilees, Jubilees, and what that is,
What
or what this book is doing is what you say.
I was gonna say, where did you get the book from? Like online or something?
Yeah, I got it off of Amazon. Used.
Okay.
You get it used cheap. Used.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, what Jubilees mean is 50. Like I was just telling you about you got a Sabbath year. You know what I'm saying? 6 years you till the ground. The 7th year you let the ground rest. So that's what they were saying when you see in the scriptures in the book of Daniel when it says a week of years. That's what they talk about. 7 years.
Okay.
So
How do you know what the 7th year is though? Like how far as like if we saying that the 6th year and that's the 7th year. So what year are we in now?
well that's the thing about when you understand what I'm saying about understanding that what we dealing with in the Old Testament ain't jiving with what they're doing in the New Testament. So he discontinued us from our heritage. So we off. We can't. When we get back, he take us back to the land. Is when we get all that knowledge start coming back. There's no way in hell.
Oh, okay.
See what I'm saying? So anyway, what it means is you got a week of years, so 7 years. So then 70 times 7, 7 times 7 is 49. 49 years. That 50th year is a jubilee. That's what jubilee means. It's a 50th year. So you go 7 times 7 is 49 years. And then that 50th year is is a Jubilee year. And in Israel, back in the day, when Israel was thriving, all debt. Like you see people now, they got jammed up with debt and stuff. On that Jubilee year, all debt is erased. All debt everything go back where it came from.
Okay.
Yeah. Jubilee. And so these angels, this book of Jubilees, the angels is talking from their perspective. Because these angels keeping time by Jubilees, by every 50 years. That's why these Edomites doing the same thing now. But from heaven's perspective, they time is being tracked by Jubilees, not like we doing with years, days and years, but they tracking time by Jubilees. So let me give you an example. I'm gonna read out of the first part of it. It says, so in this book also known as, they call it the Little Genesis. So let me read something out here right quick. I think it's in chapter 1. Okay. Chapter 1. Yeah, it says, it happened in the first year of the exodus of the children of Israel out of Egypt, in the 3rd month, in the 17th day of the month. God spoke to Moses, saying, "Come up to me on the mountain, and I will give thee 2 tablets of stone, and the law and the commandments which I have written, that you may teach them." Moses went up on the mountain of God, and the glory of the Lord rested on Mount Sinai, and the cloud overshadowed it 6 days. See, that's what he's talking about right here. 6 days, right? And Jesus says, and he called to Moses on the 7th day out of the middle of the cloud, and the appearance of the glory of the Lord was like a flame of fire on top of the mountain. And Moses was on the mountain 40 days and 40 nights. And God taught him, this is what you hear me talking about most of the time in the introduction of the class, when I say that Lord of hosts gave Moses the law, the Torah, the first 5 books of the Torah. So Moses didn't know nothing about Genesis and all that would have happened, but it was conveyed to him by the Lord of hosts on right here. This is what Jubilee's telling you. It was conveyed to him. So it says in verse 5, he said, "Open your heart, and every word which I shall speak unto you on this mountain, write them in a book." This is the Torah. Write them in a book, in the order that their generations may see how I have not forsaken them for all the evil which they have committed when they transgress the covenant which I established between me and you for their generations this day on the mountain. Right. So that's what yeah. So that's how they go. That's why you hear me saying that. When Moses came up on Mount Sinai, these angels been there for eternity. So Lord of hosts brought Moses up to par. That's why they say that Moses wrote the Torah, the first 5 books of the Old Testament. And we see where he just told him to write it down. Okay. Yeah. So with that being said, I'm gonna start reading out of Jubilees, chapter 15. I'm gonna read chapter 15, then we can break it down and then we'll talk about it. Okay. It says, in the 15th year of the 4th week of this Jubilee. That's what I was talking about earlier. So these angels talking, they dealing with time by Jubilees. In the 5th year of the 4th month, or the 4th week of this Jubilee, in the 3rd month, in the middle of the month, Abraham celebrated the feast of the first fruits of the grain of harvest, and he made new offerings on the altar, the first fruits of the produce of the Lord, a heifer, a goat, a sheep on the altar as burnt sacrifices to the Lord. Their first offerings, their fruit offerings, and their drink offerings he offered on the altar with frankincense. So see what they're doing. I was showing you how he says he bring the form and the latter rain, right, and cause their crops to grow. Then they turn around and they admonish that by having by doing Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me? I see you on there twice. Okay, yeah. Okay, you good? So anyway, so this is why they're making the sacrifices, because they're admonishing him for being faithful to them by bringing the former rain and latter rain. That's what it's all about. So anyway, let me see. I'm in verse 3. And the Lord appeared unto Abraham and said unto him, I am God Almighty. Examine yourself and demonstrate yourself before me and be perfect. And I will make my covenant, okay? I will make my covenant between me and you, and I will multiply you greatly. Abraham fell on his face, and God talked with him and said, my law is with you, and you will be the father of many nations. Neither shall your name anymore be called Abram, but your name should, from now on, even and forever, shall be Abraham. For I have made you the father of many nations, and I will make you very great, and I will make you into nations, and kingdom shall come forth from you. And I shall establish my covenant between me and you and your offspring after you throughout their generations for an eternal covenant, so that I may be a God to you and to your offspring after you. You may possess the land where you have been a sojourner, and the land of Canaan, and you will possess it forever, and I will be their God. And the Lord said to Abraham, keep my covenant, you and your offspring after you, and circumcise every male among you, and circumcise your foreskin, and it shall be a token of an eternal covenant between me and you. So this ain't changed. So he says that when the male is circumcised, you under the covenant with him. But if you ain't circumcised, you're not under the covenant. A lot of people ain't getting that. So that means that the male is over the household, so the household ain't covered. You ain't circumcised, then the household ain't covered. You ain't covered, and everything that fall under you ain't covered. So anyway, it says, and he that, but they want to act like this don't matter now. It matter now. You say you done woke up, you an Israelite, so it matters.
That's true.
Yeah, you got two things open, I think.
I know, cause I can only see one. Hold on, I'm gonna leave and go back to the link.
Yeah, okay. 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 Oh. Oh. You got two on that. You still got two on it. Go ahead and talk. Okay. Okay.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
What you saying?
No, you were just asking me was that I had two when I forgot what I was saying though.
Okay. Yeah. I was telling you about the circumcision, how that it matters.
Oh, okay, yeah, I was just agreeing with you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm in verse 13, Jubilees chapter 15, verse 13. And he that is born in your house shall surely be circumcised, and those whom you have, here you go right here, and those whom you have bought with money shall be circumcised, and my covenant shall be in your flesh, an eternal ordinance. See that? It's eternal. Don't matter if we cast out a land or not. So it says, the uncircumcised male, here you go right here, the uncircumcised male who is not circumcised in the flesh of the foreskin on the 8th day, that soul shall be cut off from his people. And for he has broken my covenant. So this is what I mean. This was all the drama happening to us. Being killed in the street, shot down by the cops, all that, because of this right here.
Okay.
Right. So it says the uncircumcised male who is not circumcised in the flesh of the foreskin on the 8th day, that soul shall be cut off from his people, for he has broken my covenant. God said to Abraham, as for Sarah, your wife, her name shall be no more Sarah, but her name shall be Sarah, shall be her name, right? He said, I will bless her, give you a son by her, and I will bless him, and he shall become a nation, and kings and nations shall proceed from him. Abraham fell on his face, rejoiced, and said in his heart, shall a son be born to him that is 100 years old, and Sarah, and shall Sarah, who is 90 years old, bring forth? Abraham said, "O God, oh that Ishmael might live before you." God said, "Yea, and Sarah also shall bear you a son, and you will call his name Isaac, and I will establish my covenant with him, an everlasting covenant for his offspring after him. And as for Ishmael, also have I heard you, and behold, I will bless him and make him great, multiply him greatly, and he shall begot 12 princes, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant will be established with Isaac, whom Sarah shall bear to you this time next year." And God ceased speaking with him, and God went up from Abraham. And Abraham did according as God had said unto him, and he took Ishmael his son, and all that were born in his house, and whom he had bought with money, every male in his household, circumcised the flesh of their foreskin. And on the same day was Abraham circumcised, and all the men of his house, and all those who have been bought with money from the children of the strangers were circumcised with him. The law is, so this is a law right here. This is one of those commandments, one of those laws you're talking about. Say, this law is for all generations forever. There is no variance of days, no omission of one day out of the 8 days, for it is an eternal law, ordained and written in the heavenly tablets. So this is major. 26, everyone that is born, the flesh of whose foreskin is not circumcised on the 8th day, does not belong to the children of the covenant, which the Lord made with Abraham, but instead they belong to the children of destruction. See that? That's why you get killed in the streets and everything else happens.
Okay. So circumcised is the circumcised mean more than just the foreskin getting cut off?
Yeah, it's just a sign. Whenever if you like back in the day, they used to bathe in the river and all that and whatever. When somebody see that, they know you are Israelite, that you're under covenant with Yahweh. It don't mean nothing else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's what that means. And so he's saying, right, the angel telling Abraham right here that after he commanded Abraham to do that, and Abraham done it, every male child after that they have to be circumcised on the foreskin. So when he said that, when you understand who the Lord of hosts is, and he said that he was going to discontinue Israel from their inheritance, and that he was going to hide his face from them, this is how he hiding it. When we was cast out of the land, we're not keeping these ordinances and all that. That's how he hid his face from us, through these laws. And now we see that he's coming back, and he's starting to reveal it to us, reveal it to certain people, and bring all this information back. It's starting to come back now, because we can't go back in the land until we line this stuff up.
Okay.
That's the whole reason we kicked out of the land, because we defiled it. So in order for us to go back, we have to be cleansed. Let me read that right quick. That's in Ezekiel chapter 37. I read a little bit of this yesterday. Ezekiel 37. Okay, let me get it. Yeah, Ezekiel 37 says, okay, I'm in 21, 37, Ezekiel 37, verse 21. And say unto them, thus said the Lord God, behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen, whether they be gone, I will gather them on every side, bring them into their own land, and I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel, and one king shall be king of them all, and they shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms anymore at all. Neither shall they defile themselves. Right here, this dealing with those 613 laws you're talking about. Neither shall they defile themselves anymore with their idols, nor with their detestable things, nor with any of their transgressions, but I will save them out of their dwelling places when they have sinned, and I will cleanse them. See that? I will cleanse them. And so shall they be my people, and I will be their God. So we got to be cleansed before we go back. And the only way we can be cleansed, we got to be, the laws and statutes and the judgments got to be brought back to our remembrance. We got to be able to, we got to be able to understand.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So Yeah,
In there, okay? Stay with me.
I'm in 27. He says,
Stay calm.
26 again says,
Okay.
everyone that's born flesh of whose foreskin is not circumcised on a day does not belong to the children of the covenant, which the Lord made with Abraham, but instead they belong to the children of destruction. Nor is there any other sign on him that he is the Lord. So ain't no other sign on him. And there ain't no other sign on there to identify that you're Israelite. So it says, and to be rooted out of the earth, for he has broken the covenant of the Lord our God. And here we go right here. This is what a lot of people don't know. All the angels of the presence, all the angels, when he created them already circumcised. It says, all the angels of the presence of the Lord and all the angels of sanctification have been created, already circumcised on the day of their creation. And before the angels of the presence of the Lord and the angels of sanctification, he has sanctified Israel, and they should be with him and with his holy angels. Command the children of Israel to let them observe the sign of this covenant for their generations as eternal law, and they will not be rooted out of the land. For the command is ordained for a covenant, that they should observe it forever among all the children of Israel. For Ishmael and his sons and his brothers and Esau, the Lord did not cause them to come to him, and he did not choose them. Although they are children of Abraham, he knew them, but he chose Israel to be his people. So let's look at that. So verse 30 says, for Ishmael and his sons and his brothers and Esau, the Lord did not cause them to come to him. So what do you mean by that? Circumcised. Being circumcised on the 8th day. He said he didn't, that wasn't no mandatory, it's not mandatory for the Arabs, Ishmael and his brothers and Esau. It was only for Israelites, Hebrew Israelites. Like he said, come to him. That's what he mean by come to him, being circumcised on the 8th day. So he said,
okay.
And he did not choose them, although they are children of Abraham. He knew them, but he didn't choose Israel to be his people. He sanctified them and gathered them from among all the children of men, for there are many nations and many people, and all are his, and over all nations he was placed spirits and authority to lead them astray from him. So let's look at that right quick. I want to simplify something. So we see right here in 31, he sanctified them, talking about the Israelites, and gathered them from among all the children of men. And there are many nations, many people, and all are his, and over all nations he placed spirits in authority to lead them astray from him. So what's a spirit? It's an angelic being, right? Minister and angels minister spirits.
Yeah, true.
See what it said? Spirits, that's angels, in authority to lead them astray. So that's back when at the Tower of Babel, when he divided the earth up with these 70 angels, wicked angels, and the Lord of hosts and these 7 angels, he gave them the Jerusalem, Mount Sinai, and all that area right there where the Israelites possessed, and Michael in turn gave it to the Israelites when he got them out of Egypt. But my point is to show you that spirits, he said, and I place spirits in authority to lead them astray. So these angels, right? And you can't fumble with that. Ain't no other, that's what that means. So when you understand that, you go to Genesis chapter 1. You probably heard me talk about it before. In Genesis chapter 1, verse 1.
Yeah, I'm getting it now. I got it.
So it says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. That's Yahweh. Then verse 2, the earth was without form and void. Darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the spirit of God. That's the angel of God. See that? They fumbling.
Oh, okay.
They trying to throw you off by putting spirit there. So that's gonna kill JC. but they went with Spirit of God. So trying to say Holy Ghost, but that's an angel that's there. Yahweh in verse 1, and his angel with him. Spirit of God, the angel of God. Okay? I want to shine a light on that, okay? So I'm in Jubilees 15 and 32. But over Israel he did not appoint. See that? See that right here? This is explaining right here. But over Israel he did not appoint any angel or spirit, for he alone is their ruler, and he will preserve them and require them at the hand of his angels and his spirits, and at the hand of all his powers, in order that he may preserve them and bless them, that they may be his, and he may be theirs from now and forever. I announce to you that the children of Israel will not keep true to this law, and they will not circumcise their sons according to all this law. That's what we at right now. For in the flesh of their circumcision, they will omit this circumcision of their sons, and all the sons of Belial will leave their sons uncircumcised as they were born. Then will be a great wrath from the Lord against the children of Israel, because they have forsaken his covenant and turned aside from his word, and provoked God and blasphemed, because they did not observe the ordinance of this law. That's the law of circumcision, right? For that's what we are right now. For they have treated their genitals like the Gentiles. The Gentiles don't circumcise themselves, right? So here we go right here. This is what I'm talking about the Gentiles. And so that they may be removed and rooted out of the land, and there will be no more. There shall be no more be pardon or forgiveness for them for all the sins of this eternal era. So when you don't circumcise the male child on the 8th day, it's an error. It's an eternal error. So, but you know, it ain't viewed as important now. But that's where all the drama comes from.
And that makes kind of for as you can see, the reason why they kept that book, so they took that book out of the Bible, was because they went into more depth, and they went into more detail about the spirits.
Right, exactly. Right. That's why all of them out of there. Like I said, in the Jackson, we see who it was that. I mean, before they got hooked to our records, everybody associated the star that came in the sky or shine in the sky, they associated with Abraham. When Abraham was born, they changed it. When they concocted JC in the New Testament, now all us, especially the Israelites, we looking at JC, and putting that story on him. So they couldn't put it in the Bible because you figured it out.
Yeah, and then they try to make him seem like they say he's black and this, so we can all be like, okay, well, we really believe this. This is true,
right.
Just because they're saying that these characters are black.
Right, exactly. And all you gotta do is look at it, like the other guy, brother was saying about. Look how hot it is over there. How the hell is like white? All the heat over there.
Yeah.
We ain't using our head. It don't make no sense. That's just like the apple with the apple thing. I mean, shit, we eat apples. We go to the supermarket all day long and eat apples. They shit apples.
I remember, because I remember you telling me that I had mentioned that the other day. I think to my daughter, and I was talking about that. I said, man, for the longest, man, we was going to these Christian churches, and I was
Right.
believing that Eve ate an apple and just destroyed the world. I'm like, but it does not mention an apple at all, really.
No, they talk about no apple. Oh no. And the same thing with Noah when he got out the boat. It wasn't they went in to Noah's wife and got Canaan. That's why he cursed Canaan, because Canaan didn't get on the boat, but all of a sudden when they got out the boat, he said he cursed Canaan. Well, where the hell Canaan came from? God, that's what Jacob with Noah's wife.
Okay.
That's why they walking backwards. When you read the story, they walk backwards. Then everything start clicking in your head. Once somebody shine a light on it, they walk backwards. and it covered up their Noah's nakedness. That's why they walking backwards. Their mama's laying there, so they walking backwards and covered her up, not to look on them. It ain't Noah.
Oh, okay.
Let me read that right quick, man. I don't like to. Let me read that before we close out. Let me get a Genesis chapter. I think it's 9. Yeah, the nakedness of Noah. It says, I'm in Genesis 9:20. It says,
Okay,
Noah begin. You got it?
I got it.
Okay. It says, and Noah began to be a husbandman, and he planted a vineyard, and he drank the wine and was drunken, and he was uncovered within his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan. See that? All of a sudden, Canaan ain't get on the boat. Supposedly it's Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Where Canaan come from right here? It says, and Ham, father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his 2 brothers, then he go right here, 23. Shem and Japheth took garments and laid it upon both their shoulders and went backwards. See that? There's a woman laying there. It ain't Noah. See what I'm saying? They went backwards.
Okay.
And then you go to Leviticus 18. He's gonna explain it. Leviticus 18 right quick. Let me get it. Yeah, 18 at verse 7. Leviticus 18 and 7. You got it?
I got it now.
So it says, the nakedness of thy father or the nakedness of thy mother shall thou not uncover. She is thy mother. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. Then you go to the answer right here, verse 8. The nakedness of thy father's wife shall thou not uncover. It is thy father's nakedness. So his wife is his nakedness. And when you say don't uncover means nakedness, that means you can't sleep with his wife. Because if you sleep with her, she got to take her clothes off. You got to uncover her clothes, so that's what that means. So when you start looking at all this, that's Hebrew idioms, which is like with us now. We are unique people. We right today we use slang. We understand it among ourselves, but the other people can't understand it unless they start hanging around us long. They'll start figuring out these slang words we use. So that's what that is right there. It's a phrase, but it means a particular thing. So a man's nakedness is his wife. It ain't you looking crazy because you sitting there thinking you talking about Noah naked. No, Noah ain't naked. Noah's wife.
Yeah,
I
thought that. Yeah, I thought that when I had read it before. I gotta admit that I did think that.
Yeah. I was the same way. I was in the same place. But we see right here in Leviticus 18 what the case is, right?
Yeah, we see that.
Right. Yeah, check that out. Read, you get a little time, read it. Yeah, you have some questions, we talk about it. So,
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna do that tonight.
okay. So everybody good?
I'm good.
Okay. Yes. So we're gonna close out right there. We're over an hour. So yeah, we close out. See everybody tomorrow for the women's line. Like I said, it's just reverse. The men can come in on through YouTube, but the women can come in through the link. So with that being
Okay,
said,
brother. Good.
yeah, say shalom, everybody. I'll see everybody tomorrow at 8 o'clock.
Shalom, shalom.
All right, shalom.